What up, Naughty Steppers? Connor Whitmore here again with another review for you on the Nawtystep channel, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the new EP from Akeos, released on Never Say Die's black label, Labyrinth. This is the debut 4-track collection from 16-year-old Avelina Bahana, aka Akeos, arriving as a culmination and recognition of her high level of quality output thus far, releasing a stream of singles over the last year or so and collaborating with some of the best in underground dubstep along the way. From Hella and Cybersex to Yari, Fate, Nasty Porks, Kilrina, the list goes on. Not only this, but garnering wave after wave of support from some of the biggest names in dubstep full stop, all of whom, in spite of her age, see her landing this EP as very well deserved and in many ways overdue. From what I'd heard so far, there was a lot to suggest I'd enjoy this EP going into it. Not to say I'd been repeatedly wowed on the ideas front, but the production was clean and punchy enough to make me really take notice. So is Labyrinth indeed as punchy and clean as I thought it would be? Not only that, it's got the ideas to match. This EP is not only extremely well crafted, sharp, snappy and emphatic in its execution, it's also stacked with variety and brimming with life from beginning to end, showing RIDDIM music in a new light altogether. This is due to her going through a wealth of different styles within the RIDDIM structure across the EP. You have the full throttle, uncontainable, jabbing delivery of the opener and title track, then the rapid, blistering, acidic drops of tripolar dub, the more pensive, drawn-out approach in Friction, and finishing off with the 6-minute RIDDIM opus that is dual with Jub. And it's not just within the EP, but also within the tracks themselves that Bahana constantly keeps things fresh. In all 4 tracks here, I can honestly say, barring maybe a couple of brief snippets, that there isn't a dull drop moment. As we all know, RIDDIM can be very predictable and laborious, but pretty much all the heaviness here is literally the exact opposite. The little clinks and changes in sound and placement in the opener and title track, a savage tune that gets at you in whatever way it can, the management of time and space is fantastic. Track 2, Tripolar Dub, is as scintillating and maddening as RIDDIM dubstep gets, difficult to keep up with in the best way possible. Squelchy, blinding, quick fire drops with no remorse, completely has you in its grasp. Oh, shit! Oh my god, it's just so fucking juicy. Also really enjoy the staggered progressions to each main drop there, helps the listener enjoy those sounds in a different way. Track 3, Friction, is a powerful mix of spaced out and skittish delivery, industrial and swampy, twisting this way and that. As I mentioned, probably the most pensive and drawn out backdrop on the EP, but still very diverse and alive in sound. And the final cut duel alongside Jub, I said, has a bit of an opus feel to it, and don't take that lightly, cause honestly, where to start with this one? Never before has a 6-minute RIDDIM song kept me hooked for its entirety up until now. The first drop is mighty and forceful, huge percussion with the synths devilish and guttural. Picking up in little ways with background touches and added notes before this absolute tub thumper of a switch up. Another rapid, jabbing section, but the way it transitions into it is just amazing, the flow and rhythm never disrupted. The second drop has a similar format, although the way it leads into it, extending the vocal sample into a kind of fake out release, is expertly done. Oh, it's just pure flavour. Different in style from the first with its twisted, stuttered approach, with another switch up on hand to truly take you off your seat. every tune also going through pitch and volume changes from beginning to end, giving the original drop sounds a slightly altered look, which is frankly an embodiment of what this EP is about, small changes having a massive impact. And even though the overall style and aesthetic of Labyrinth is very dark, it's undoubtedly a very colourful and flavoursome EP. Most notable in Tripolar Dub, it's the kind of bright, glistening presentation you'd associate with someone like Chibs, just more lively. There's so much seriously good stuff on this EP, and that's before I even move away from the heaviest parts. The introduction to the EP on the title tune is electrifying, sparkly, pure, nostalgia-inducing. Musicality is great, it's well layered, and I don't think it's far-fetched for me to say it sounds like some sort of virtual self-tribute. On Tripolar Dub and Duel, we have the spacey, intergalactic introductions, the former nervy, the latter a bit warmer. And on Friction, we get that gloomy, spooky beginning. Snares aren't perfect, but the scene is set very well. There's always a risk with RIDDIM music being so dark and full-on that the introductions seem out of place, but none of them do here. Moreover, every mid-section provides not only a much-needed moment of respite, but also a way of re-engaging those introductory themes. The one aspect of this EP making it quite formulaic, but the way each song goes back to basics before rebuilding is definitely welcomed. I also can't go without mentioning the vocal samples, which across the board really are spot on. Big love of course for the aforementioned sample before the second drop in Duel, but my favourites lie in Tripolar Dub. Also, pretty sure the sample opening up the midsection says I'm peeing. Nice little comedic touch there. I've referenced a few off moments so far, and there are others like the percussion being a little muddied in the midsection of Duel, but honestly, they are so minuscule within the context of the EP that they're very easy to ignore. Everything else is so overwhelmingly good. And so overall, I can't help but think that Labyrinth is up there with the best projects I've heard this year so far. Some of the drops may bear a likeness to styles of other producers, but Behana transforms them in every case. The opener is Mastodon-like presentation on speed, likewise with the Chibs-esque approach of Tripolar Dub, putting her own spin on different kinds of underground dubstep music in a ridiculously fresh, well-assembled, emphatic way, with enough variety across the EP to ensure that Labyrinth is unique in itself, full of adventure and exploration. Resultantly, as a body of work, it hardly repeats itself and instead fires on all cylinders, constantly going the extra mile to keep you locked in. And with the production quality to match, it's RIDDIM on steroids with proper high-definition execution, compelling, striking, impressive. A real authority to it as well, an 18.5-minute RIDDIM EP where I never get bored, which is a bit mad, no? Not every idea here is knockout in itself, but it's the variety in style and crispness and definition of the percussion throughout that truly gets you. A combination that you rarely get in all honesty, so I think this EP is one to be treasured. One that unleashes new life not only in the RIDDIM genre, but also the Black Label imprint. The most gripping EP of its kind I've heard in a while, perhaps ever. And if I gave scores, this would definitely range somewhere between a 9 and a 9.5. And it's seldom I say that, I'll tell you that much. As a very young, up-and-coming producer, I would love to highlight some ways she could improve, but genuinely, I can't come up with any. The small irks I do have, I feel she'll just get better at naturally over time. To think that this is her starting point, and that she potentially gets better and better from here, is quite frankly frightening. So yeah, this EP, it fucking bangs. Proper naughty. Now in terms of my favourite on the EP, then it is difficult to pick just one, but if I had to, I would go for Tripolar Dub. The drops are fantastic, especially the slight changes from one to the other, vocal samples are brilliant, execution is mad good. And in terms of recommendations, if you enjoyed the EP, then I would look at some other stuff from Akeos, and also some Chibs, Ominous, Sabor, Lux and Chromatic for that super fresh darkness. And so there we have it, my thoughts on the new EP from Akeos, released on NSD's Black Label, Labyrinth. What did you guys make of the EP? Which track is your favourite of the four? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell along the way, social media accounts in the description box down below. For some other Never Say Die related videos on the channel, check out the link link right here. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know guys, so be sure, as always, to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.